So welcome everybody. Tonight is June 3rd, and we are here to talk about awakening and renewal. Before Eleonora gets started, I just want to give you my usual introductory words, which is mostly around the sense of we hope that this is just the beginning for you, if it's not already somewhere in the middle for you with the Sacred Center. And to let you know that there are 2 more seats or spots. So you're not doing a lot of sitting when you go to Peru with Eleonora. There's just 2 places left. And that trip is at the end of September. So if you've been thinking about it, it's a wonderful time to reach out to Elle and talk with her about it a little more. And also to let you know that the summer chill class, which really takes you deep into this work of Chumpi Illumination, is exactly 2 months from today on August 3rd. So if you have taken an intro class in person or you've done the online video training, that is all you need to be able to attend the summer chill class, either in person in Warwick with Eleonora or online. You can be right there on Zoom. I've been there where we have a little laptop. It's on a little spinny thing, and you can be part of the class even if you're not, with Elle in Warwick. And like I said, the best way to get started with that, if you haven't taken any formal classes yet, is to go to the website and take the video intro. And I think Eleonora is going to be mentioning, but the other great thing to have in your hands, especially if you're new to this work, is the book, Divine Embodiment, The Art and Practice of Chumpi Illumination, that has, there you go, that has a really deep intro story to chill itself, and also a set of cards if you don't have a set of stones, and a really beautiful introduction to the forms that we use. So with that, I will turn it over to Eleonora and we will dive into awakening and renewal.
Hi, good evening, everybody. The last time we met was on the eclipse, correct? April 12th. So doesn't it seem like a million years ago? Everything looks so different. And it's about 6 weeks. And it just seems like every number and every water that we talk about and meditate on seems so apropos too. This class, this talk is about awakening, number 9. So number 1, 2, 3 is birthing, balancing, unifying. The 4 is compassion, having compassion for self. 5 is harmony, communion, wholeness. Then that 8 is infinity sign, is purifying all. I'm sure everyone here has done a ton of work on their past, their lineages, their mother, father stuff. That's a lot of 8, is releasing the tie, releasing the hold, the emotional hold that the lineage has on you, or in other words, like your persona represents that, right? The lineage, stepping outside of that so that you're a free branch that has roots from generations, but you are an autonomous, sovereign being, which leads us to 9. 9 is awakening, right? So I love 9 and the shape of 9, because 9 is the circle, right? And if we're talking about like stepping outside our persona, 9 is about like tapping into the luminous body, the greater reality, the light that surrounds us, that which exists beyond our karmic coat that we're wearing, you know? So it's what I think it's what anybody that's on a spiritual or healing journey is headed towards. How can we be of a greater reality, but still, if you notice, the 9 has that vertical line, still be grounded in this reality, this 3D reality, but not organized from that perspective, right? So, and like when I was kind of meditating on 9 for now, I remember like my first trips to Peru, which was like 30 years ago, meeting the Keto Nation and the head of the Keto Nation, and they're gone now, but they had just come down from 16,000 feet, and they read the Milky Way that said that we were entering a Pachacuti. The reason they came down from the 16,000 feet villages that they lived in was because we were in a Pachacuti where the earth, Pacha earth, Kuti turns inside out. The earth was turning inside out. That was 30 years ago, before cell phones, Instagram, everything else. And we're like presently showing up as a collective unit to really see, be, embody what's up for us now. And this is really where we're up to, I believe, is awakening to this greater reality. It's like the light, tapping into the light, being of the light, and really like noticing. Like when we start the meditation, I was thinking that you would just really try to focus on being here now and noticing all your senses, what you hear, what you see, just noticing the persona that we carry, right? The robes that we carry. That's not real. That's stuff we make up. So what we want to do is tap into the essence of that universality, that luminous body, that light, higher self, infinity. I mean, different traditions call it different things, right? But we're trapped in our thinking and in our world that we live in. I shouldn't say we're trapped. It was once described to me like this, and I love the description. It's like we were in a house, and we know all the rooms, we have the bedroom, the bathroom, the this, the that, the this, and our lives revolve around waking up at the same time, doing things, going out to work, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden we see a doorway, and we go oh, I wonder what that is. We open that doorway, and there's like a whole other part of the house that we never knew existed. It's there, we just never opened that door. So hopefully with this intention, with the meditation tonight, I'm calling in all the beings here to just really be present for us, to really just tap into that little sparkle of the more, right? And it's just being present. I don't know how else to say it. And there's no way to get there, but notice, just think, you're here now, and just notice. I like the word notice. Notice what's going on around you, and be in both places at once, right? And anything to add to that, Marissa? Am I clear?
I think you're clear. Yeah. I think, that emphasis on the be present has been so much of the work lately, and that releasing of the past and the future and making it more possible. That's just been so much of what we've been working on, I feel like.
Yeah. And it's kind of like once you wake up, that doorway in you, it never shuts. It's always there. And the doorway actually is the heart space. It's really the heart space. In all the classes, because I'm a kinesiologist, I like to really be in a place where I don't know what I don't know. So then I can ask the collective, the beings that are helping the Chumpi work, what it is that we could do, what forms we could make to try to create this greater reality that we're all talking about. And as I said, the heart is at the center of it. So we've I shouldn't say work, but you go deeper and deeper into the heart, where you have the physical heart that you hear beating, and then you have that emotional heart that everyone's had their heart break and grieve and all of that, and a lot of us in this population of human beings create that grief, heartache, and that's their whole life. And then they pass on. And so this is about going deeper into the heart. There's like a trap door that's deeper. It's an impersonal heart where you can be of the greater reality and also feel the joy and the sadness that exists because we're in a body on this planet Earth. And then there's even a deeper doorway. That's the doorway, the heart of the Pachamama, the great Earth, and the heart of the universe that we are so blessed to be living in. So with this, the form is going to be, I asked the powers that be, and this is what I got. It doesn't come up this way that always, but I don't know. I think I did it too light. It's kind of like the above is you're going to do 3 chumpies, and as Marisa says, if you just have the cards, that's fine, or if you have stones, that's fine too. If you have nothing, that's fine too. But we want one of the things over the years is the stones give us tangible reality that we can hold on to, because we're not advanced enough and in tune enough to like just wander through our brain and just become expanded. So the stones actually create like a template, a temple that we exist in, right? Energetically. So we want 3 stones, on one stone on either side of the head, and then 1 at the top, right? And then 3 at the bottom, like 2 outside your ankles and 1 below the feet. And then actually what's holding this together is very important, because that's the juice, that's the electrical current, you know, that carries messages to our cells through our core, through our spinal column, right? So you don't have to add up the stones. I don't want you to add up the stones. I just want you to pick another stone. It doesn't have to be a chumpi, to put on your heart, like to ground the heart. So that when you're laying there, you'll have a sense of above and a sense of below, right? And
I'll just to ask you to help clarify that electrical current. Is it about imagining a connection between the top and bottom chumpies, or is it really more about kind of centering everything at the heart as the center space? Are we thinking about a line? Are we thinking about a spot? Is it both?
both, because in all the work that I've been doing over the years, I noticed that this is something that's left out a lot, you know, because a lot of people talk about defending yourself, protecting yourself from here out. Meanwhile, this is the core. This is where the juice is that connects us to the earth and to our brain, right? The left side of the brain, the right side of the brain, all the messages, all the notes come down through this. Actually, I'm going to show you, because while I was thinking about this and writing it, I have a lot of these purbas around, and I wanted to show you this because, like, these purbas are, a lot of them come from Tibet. This one I was gifted a long time ago, but it's the head up here and the root here. But look this is the important part, the core, right? The spinal column, which distributes all the messages. And at the center of that is our heart, Our heart beats, the nervous system follows, and then proteins, neutrons, electrons, all the nutrients get distributed afterwards, right? So it's an important concept that I'm going to keep trying to re-emphasizing every time we meet. Because what we want to do ultimately also is be healthy. Our physical bodies, we want to be healthy. And if we can tap into this luminous place and receive it in ourselves, then we become healthier and lighter and more adapting to situations. So, and awaken. Oh, and I did not mention the waters, so we work with the stones and the waters. And you know my story. in every trip that I've gone to Peru, I've managed to have my guide, Ruli, go deep into a well or into a glacier and get me the water from a sacred site, right? So the sacred site, that number 9, which coincides with awakening, comes from this place. I don't know, did I ever mention this place before? Laguna Negra. The waters from Laguna Negra are made up of minerals that no other lagoon has in Peru. I don't know about any place else in the world, but so all the Peruvians go on a pilgrimage to these lagoons. They have specific minerals in them, and they do San Pedro, the cactus, at night, and then they cleanse their hucha, or heavy energy, right, in the lagoon filled with these minerals and these nutrients. And so that's where this water comes from, that aligns with the awakening, because it's a healing, it's the source. Nobody knows how these lagoons got there. That's kind of the mystery. And so it was a glacier that, was distributed. And it's a heck of a trip to get to this place. It's not for the weak, that's for sure. It's like on the edge of a mountain with a rusty old bus. And and it's north coast near Ecuador. So I wanted to just read you what what came of the 9. So in the book, it says, we collected these waters from a major waterfall at Huancabamba, that's the name of this little town, a mysterious place in the high northern part of Peru. When you stand in this remote space, you instinctively know that these waters are particularly powerful and ancient. This essence is especially potent for those who yearn to awaken from sorrow and pain. They connect you to the wisdom. Wisdom is a good word. The wisdom of the ancestors, so you can fully embrace the present moment. I mean, that sentence says it all. It connects you to the wisdom. The wisdom is not a belief system. The wisdom is just, it is, right? And so you can fully embrace the present moment. When you're in the present, you watch everything go around you and in you, but you don't live from that place. You live from the present moment. So we have a lot that we're putting, the intention for this is quite robust, but I love it. And so this is a 9 from this. And then I've been using my lapis set also. This is 9 also. So does anybody have any questions? You just need 3 stones.
I just do when you're talking about the juice, right? Like it's the central meridian that feeds all the chakras and everything, right? Our whole electrical system.
It's not a meridian. It's
a whole,
yeah. It's like
a big channel that comes in.
It's a channel. Yes,
channel.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
It's definitely a channel. Yeah. And that's why we could do long distance healing too, right? It's like you tune, not with the brain, you tune with the core to the other person's energy, and you could read it quite nicely. You have to put your own self aside, your ego, and tune, right? Stay out of your own way, your persona, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just to clarify for when you just said 3 stones, it's actually 6, right? So it's a triangle around your head and a triangle around your feet.
Right. And
one on your
if I
heart.
forget this part, I want to say it now, because I thought that even after we finish for today, you could use those, like what the 3 on top of your head adds up to and what the 3 on the bottom adds up to. You could hold those 2 numbers and really do like healing, hold, say it's 3 and 7, and this way you keep training your brain to be non-dualistic, to not pull one to one side and only one side, to really challenge yourself to hold both equally. And then what happens is you fall into this core and something else happens. So right? Because if I forget that, I thought that's why I didn't want you to add them up and put what it added up on your heart.
Eleanor, how do you select the 3 stones?
Oh, so you could do it intuitively. You never get a wrong anything. The reason I'm talking about it is because now that you know what those stones are going to represent, you can do it intuitively. Or you could muscle test, self-test, or you could use a pendulum. Whichever one works for you, or whichever one you feel most comfortable doing. Like I said, there's no wrong at all. What comes up, you're like, oh, you're going to go like, oh, of course. So, yeah. So, yeah, so I'll give you, I don't know, 5 minutes or something like that. And then we'll reconvene. Oh, then I'll play the sounds. Okay? All right, great.
Elle, do you want to make sure you've got your original sound for musicians flicked on?
I'm going to just play something and you tell me.
Okay.
I think so. You heard that?
Sounds great. Yep, very good.
Okay. you are ready, you can come back. Okay. See one little animal back there.
She was a little sad she got left out. So brought her in.
So, with any comments or?
Sure. Yeah, I saw a bridge over a gorge, and then I heard like as if people were like shuffling in the gravel over a path. And then I was on like this, like a tarp or like, like a big parachute, parachute like the kids play with, in PE. And then I was there was like a lot of beings around and just being just stretched. Um, and then not physically, but like my aura stretched. And then my spine, I felt like was really getting worked on. Like I could feel the energy go up, almost like a DNA helix, it was like twisting and the energy moving all the way up. And then I felt like a clear menthol tube in me, just like that.
A mental tube?
Oh, like a menthol, like a refreshing, that channel you were talking about.
Oh,
It was
menthol.
like menthol,
Hmm.
like it was like not icy, but cool. Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you add up your numbers?
No, not yet. I
Okay.
don't know what they are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then would I use the water essence that matches the numbers or the number 9?
You could do whatever you want.
Okay. Okay.
I
I'll ask.
would, yeah, I would somehow link the number 9 essence though to
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I was so aware of the back of the heart, which is something we've worked on a lot over the years, but and so part of it was that when you're mentioning before about connecting to Pachamama, like that greatest expansion of the heart, that cosmic heart, it was that realization of like, oh, it felt so profound. That's like, oh, it's when it enters through the back of the heart, it's that sense of like sinking down, down, down deep, but you're never going to sink all the way because you're held by the earth herself. And I just felt that sense of both being able to sink in really deep and be held at the same time. And almost the sense of the heart itself becoming like a mirror to the cosmos once you get down and in deep enough. And it was a really, after you did the rattle, I really felt like my whole brain was being cleaned out. And then whatever it was that happened next was just, there's the deepening of the heart and the jumping into the heart, because it was almost like the prelude to that coming up, getting out of the head. And then in order to really, to make it really, really visceral, like I felt like my bra strap was being like attached to the ground in the best possible way.
So interesting that we're awakening and we're holding the polarities of the brain, of the head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the polarities of left foot, right? We've got both. And so we're holding the polarities times two, and yet your focus was on the heart, like almost like the fulcrum, the center, that is the center of all centers, right? The cosmic center, which I'm sure has a lot to do with why we're being drawn to have a collective experience. Like if you were to do this alone, it would be different than us doing it collectively. That's kind of why, I keep meeting, because collectively we create some kind of mojo that's very different than, it's like this, the sum of the individual parts, which leads us into what we don't know that we don't know, which you can only do that, I believe, in a collective moment like this. Because usually when I play the sounds in a class or something, it's never that many sounds. As I was playing the sounds, because I'm being guided to what sound next and what sound next, like as a group, the sounds had a lot to do with a group meditation, not each individual person, right? So there's just something very potent about that whole thing, And I think even just leading so many trips to Peru, each one is different. But what I notice now in the last couple of years is that, and I always tell people, if you want to go on a spiritual journey, don't come on my trip. If you want an adventure, then come. Because then you're open to a collective force that, clicks into, you're out of your head, you're not looking for something, and you're linked into all the magic that exists on this planet, with temples here, temples there, ancient ones here, ancient ones there. And then you get more than what you would get if you went for a specific reason, right? I mean, that's true. Like if you go for any kind of spiritual thing, we're always disappointed. We never get what we think we should. But if you just skip down the road and, then you're, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, And I think the last 3 years, and I look at it that like like we're doing something here on the planet. Yes, all this other, we know overtly what's going on because we pay attention, but there's a stepping up that's happening on the planet. And so my job, and like I think all of you that are coming here, we're meeting it and using the beat of it to like advance us. And really, what are we doing? We're just, like that old Ram Dass book, Be Here Now, that there's nothing really more than that, but yet how hard is it for us to just actually live in that space? That's our journey here. So I'm curious to see anybody else, anybody else got or felt. Yeah.
I'll share. Mine was that infinity breath, and I didn't understand it till actually something either Marissa or Lori said, but that and you were saying too, the polarities. So it was like a body scan, and then I've never had the zero, the stem, but there was something it wanted. The zero, the circle was all of my center chakras with a stem down. And then it was to go through and weave the 8 breath throughout them. So it was kind of, it felt, I liked that word unifying, somebody had, or and stretching. There was something in there with that as well. But that breath kept coming. And then it was almost like play. It wanted the infinity breath through each arm, through each leg. And I've had the one piece I had is my left leg has been achy. And that's the one that was like, it just asked, stay here, and do the breath and stay in. And somehow the 9, it's almost like threading it through a needle through the that part of it. So the hips became the circle with the line down, and then the breath would weave through. So it felt good.
How did you remember all of that?
Oh, I guess like the waves of an ocean, it just
Yeah.
flowed like breath. And so I was surprised because I've never had the ones down my arm or my legs and shoulders. There was one, which to Marissa's thing about the back, it felt like that. It wanted an infinity breath this way, and then I don't know how to describe it to you, but front to back and side, little like that. I guess it was just because the breaths just kept coming like waves with your music. They would move with whatever was going on. So that's how it felt. Thank you.
Yeah, I like the whole the way you described it as like a weaving, like a needle, you know, we're weaving back and forth. We're weaving to the weaving of the planet, the weaving of the universe. We're all made up of the same thing. That's what they say. We're stardust. Yeah, something you said. I like the way you also brought up the center, the core, you know, like as a straight line. It's almost like, you know, I think that I think that if you can consciously become aware of that more and more, you know, you'll notice, say, a pain here and a pain there. But then if you're meditating on the whole, right, then somehow the pains go away, or they get less, they lessen. Anybody else?
I'll share. So I shuffle. I don't have chumpy stones, so I just shuffled the deck, and I picked 3 for my feet, 3 for my head, and I had one of my stones on my heart, and holding one in my right hand. But I was in my head. I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna say this, and oh, I'm gonna say that. So I had to really be here now, and what came was, it was this word experience, and when that came, it was like whoosh. My eyes were closed, but it felt like this kind of darkish purplish kind of, I don't know, it changed inside what I was seeing in my inner eye, I guess, but it was just that word experience, and that seemed to draw me in, and out of my head, and just to be present in the present moment. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was nice.
So simple, right? So simple,
So,
yet like,
so simple.
be here now. I am here now. Actually, just I think that the reason this form came up was really that maybe when you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning, maybe for the next week, hold whatever the 3 added up to and the other one. I'd be curious to see what they add up to and then what the ultimate number is. And if you could you could probably text it to me or something like that. But anyway, if you hold those 2 numbers, because what you're holding then is you're holding 6 completely different states of consciousness together and not picking one or the other. You're just surrendering to how they all move together and weave together. And it's an incredible like experience and embodiment. That's how we embody all the different 12s, is by being able to hold them all together without choosing one above the other. Ultimately, another choice comes up that we didn't think about. It just comes to us, right? That's how it works. So it's a real full, colorful meditation, I think. Gail, did you have?
There, I had to unmute myself. I did add up the numbers. I was using the cards. I was just experiencing the vibration. I was lying back in my recliner here, and I had the cards located in those places. And the top three added up to 15. So I thought that added up to 6, right?
Yeah.
And then the bottom three added up to 29, which then I added the 2 and the 9. That was 11. And then that goes to 2. Is that how that works?
An 11
Or
usually
use
is an
11?
11 and not a
Okay.
2.
Okay. And then do you do anything with the stone from the heart?
No. So
Okay.
6 and 11 is 17 is 8.
Oh, okay.
Is the infinity sign, purifying the mind.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, though, you have the recording, so you could lay in this whenever you want with other stones, because I think it's going to really be a valuable embodiment to when we meet for 10, which is freedom. And it's actually 9 is the circle, the luminous body anchored to the earth. 10 is you arrive at you're here, right? And you're seeing the luminous body, the greater reality, right? So you're the master of your own destiny, right? 10. So it's kind of like, leading up to whatever, it's all very mindful how they put these numbers together. I didn't have anything to do with it.
And 10 was the number that I happened to choose from the deck for the heart.
Yeah, 10 is freedom, right? Yeah, right.
And because
It's
there
like-
are no coincidences, we have set our date for the next Virtual Wisdom Council call, and it's on July
10th?
10th?
which was
Okay.
we were not thinking about the corresponding chumpies at the time, but everyone mark your calendar.
Yeah, it's so funny. Of course, yeah. So it's nice to feel like we're not doing this all by ourselves too. So I love all of you that came together. It takes a village, and now's the time to be in the village, right? As a collective whole. So if you have any questions, just text me, email me. I think it was to me, it felt so high vibrational, but very grounded at the same time,
So
It doesn't feel like a lot of esoteric, kind of out of body stuff. It feels very grounded and anchored. Maybe because I keep bringing in that core thing. I keep bringing the staff. We're here now. So, yeah.
Al,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Oh, hi.
Hi, I had my hand up, but I don't know if it's registering on that side. I don't know how to work this. Anyway, so interestingly, I had stones. I was all ready. I had the awakening water, put it on my heart, and stones were popping off left and right. It was hysterical. You had to be here. It was, remember when we were in St. John's of the Divine with the keto, and my entire mesa fell on the floor in the middle of right before they did the ceremony. Do you remember that years ago?
I don't remember yesterday. Nope, not a clue.
Okay, well, chaos endured. So anyway, what was interesting is things popped off, so I replaced them. And what I thought was interesting is I was very anxious through all this, just so you know, what a surprise. But the top stones added up to 10, 3, 2, and 5. And then I had a different stones on the bottom, but because they popped off, I replaced them, just grabbed any stones. And it was 3, 1, and 6, which added up to 10. So it's 2 10s, which I thought was really interesting. And you said something about pain. I had a hard time getting into it. And just as I got into it, you said, okay, everybody come back. So I'm going to redo this. But I had a really bad pain in my back for the last 4 days. It's like wrenched or something from swimming. I have no idea. But the pain has subsided. So I did get something interesting. And I think I got a lot of direction with, like, the stones were really dictating to me today because 10 and 10, right? So I'm going to do this. And when I do this again, is it okay if I hold 10 and 10 in each hand?
Absolutely. 10 and 10 is equals 2, right? So
Right, but just 10 and 10. I have 2 10s, but and would I just think awakening, right?
well, you
That's
could
it.
text me all the questions, okay?
Yeah, all right. I
All
just
right?
wanted you to know that the stones were popping off and like they wanted to they wanted to dictate what I was going to use. Like it was really, the stones were telling me, no, you're using this, you're using that, and this is the way it's going to be.
It's
So
double freedom, right? 10 is freedom.
yeah, I desperately
Freedom
need. But
times
anyway,
2.
I just thought that my back, the pain was so bad, and like that subsided in this, even though I felt like I didn't get anything, I thought I got that. So that was interesting. You said something about pain. So I wanted to just say that that was interesting. So yeah, I'm going to redo it. And, but the anxiousness.
Okay. In closing, though, Shay said something interesting or very important. She said, I didn't think I got anything from it. So you never get anything from this kind of work. It is what it is, and you receive, right? You expand to receive, and that's how we keep practicing being nonlinear and much more like multidimensional, right? So like when you go in, if you, there's no rules to any of this anyway. We're just practicing, but whatever comes up is supposed to come up, and the next time you could do the same exact thing, it'll come out totally differently, right? There's never a mental rhyme or reason for. Afterwards, you could make a story out of it and go like, "Oh, that was that. That was that. That represented that," and actually. You can keep a diary of it too. But I would encourage you to use those two, the upper and the lower, and just practice or just be in the non-duality of both those numbers, right? Marisa?
I just want to drop one more. Granted, you don't need to expect to get anything, but if you would like to get one of the water essences, I wanted to just make sure everyone knew that these are something you could hold in your own hand. And Elle talks about them from their gorgeous sources, but you can have them yourself in bottled form, and they're available on the website. So,
Yeah.
And it's Healing Source is the one that's associated with 9. They are listed there, but if you've got a Chumpi set, got a card set, you could get a set of the waters, and they look really magical all lined up on your shelf. So just so you know, you can hold this all the elements in your hand as well as get the cosmic transmission, as we all just.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, actually, I'm not a really good salesperson, but the waters have maintained their high frequency for, I don't know, I've had them, they've been here for 20 years or something. Yeah, and they have a high frequency. So anyway, good night, everybody. Enough talk.
Thank you.
See you all on July 10th.
Yes, thank you so much. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.